Hello everyone, today we'll be seeing how fast Huntail can beat Pokemon Emerald in a solo run challenge. Let's get straight into the video. This is my first time ever playing with this Pokemon in any Pokemon game, not even casually speaking. I mean, I've just never caught a Clamperl before, so I kind of wonder what this thing's going to be like. But let's take a look at the stats first to see what we're dealing with. We have 55 HP, 104 attack, which is a lot higher than I thought, 105 defense, 94 special attack, which is still pretty good, especially since all water moves are special, 75 special defense, and 52 speed. So we are kind of slow. It's not really a problem for Emerald runs because a lot of the NPCs in this game have kind of slow Pokemon, but even 52s really, that's still slow. And also, if you look at the growth rate, we're in the erratic growth rate. This is one of the worst growth rates in my opinion to play with. Basically, in the early game, they level up extremely slowly, but then by the end of the game, they level up extremely quickly. Fun fact, it only requires 600,000 XP to get to level 100, which is the lowest out of any XP group. But in terms of a solo challenge, where I have to use the same Pokemon, the early game is going to absolutely blow. And it's actually a lot worse when you take a look at our starting moveset. Yep, you're seeing it correctly. We only start with Whirlpool, and that is a horrible move. It's a 15 power water move with 70 accuracy, and it's basically a clone of Wrap and Fire Spin. And this isn't Generation 1 where it can just trap the opponent, so this move is going to be really bad to train with. But fortunately at level 8 we get Bite. Now I have to do the training from level 5 to level 8 with only Whirlpool, so that's going to be a lot of fun. But anyway, level 8 we get Bite, and then throughout the rest of the levels we get Screech at 15, and then Water Pulse, Scary Face, Crunch, Baton Pass, and Hydro Pump. I'm really looking forward to getting Water Pulse. It's going to be our best water type move until we get Surf. We also get the standard TM coverage you would expect from a water type. We get a bunch of water TMs, we get the ice ones too, and somehow this thing can learn Rock Tomb. I really do not understand why this thing learns Rock Tomb, but could be useful, you never know. And if you take a look at our tutor set, we get a bunch of normal type moves as well as Icy Wind and Mud Slap. However, most of these are locked in the Battle Frontier for battle points, but one of the notable tutor moves that we can get in the main story is Substitute, along with Swagger or Double Edge if we need it, but we may need Substitute. A lot of Pokemon in this game want Substitute. I'm not sure we're going to need Swagger, but we'll see. Anyway though, the early game here is going to be as bad as you expect. It's good that I have the rival with Torchic because I always replace the grass type starter for consistency with the rival fights. So for today, the rival's actually going to be easy. Oh man, I can't imagine if I had to do this thing facing Grovyle. Oh boy, that'd be bad. And also, look at this thing's back sprite. Doesn't that look a bit jarring to somebody? It looks like it's overly happy, but at the same time it looks like it wants to eat me. Like, what is with this sprite? Anyway, the main plan for the early game is just to fight every single trainer possible, just to try to get to level 8 as quick as I can, although the erratic growth rate's definitely working against me. It's not completely free though, the training. This trainer right here has a Shroomish on her team. I do end up saving before her, because in a previous playthrough, I was trying to defeat her with Whirlpool and I got absolutely destroyed by Absorb. But Axukairi Sora, during my Discord call, I was streaming this in my Discord server. I often stream first playthroughs of runs that will be in videos in my Discord. If you want to join them and watch, be sure to head on over there. But anyway, he suggested do not heal the PP of Whirlpool and try to struggle train for as long as I can. Also, while training on Route 102 here, I end up encountering a Zigzagoon while grinding in the wild, because I normally have a lot of struggle trying to catch a Zigzagoon, because I always seem to encounter a billion Poochyena before I find a Zigzagoon. So I catch this while I have the opportunity, and I will have to fight a mandatory double battle later, but it's not that big a deal. Anyway though, via struggle training, I do get to level 8 quickly, learn Bite, so now the run can actually get going. I make my way through the Petalburg Woods, take on these twins right here since I caught the Zigzagoon, and now I can arrive inside of Rustboro City. I get the HM for Cut, I go to the mart to buy a bunch of repels, and I go into the trainer school right here to get a Quick Claw. This will be my held item for most of the playthrough because our speed is still really bad, so any opportunity to move first will have a 20% chance of doing so. I will gladly take the offer. So now I can go inside Roxanne's gym, defeat her gym trainers with Bite, and now, with an Oranberry in hand, or I guess in tail, let's go take on the first gym leader, Roxanne. She leads off with a level 12 Geodude. Whirlpool does enough for the one-shot because it is 4 times weak to water, and then on the second Geodude it lives at 1 HP, which really surprised me. And then I went ahead and knocked it out because of the Whirlpool chip damage. It did hit me with Rock Tomb though, so I am at a bit of lower speed, but fortunately since now the Nose Pass outspeeds, it won't go for Rock Tomb unless it detects a kill. I'm slowly chipping away at it with Bite and Whirlpool. The Oranberry does end up activating during the fight, as Roxanne keeps spamming her infinite uses of potions. I do get a fortunate crit though with Bite, and that allows me to speed up the fight and get my first badge. Alright, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I fight the trainers towards the Rustboro Tunnel, get the Devon goods, rescue Pico, and now I can deliver the goods back to the Devon Corporation, and now I have to head on down to Dewford Town. I have to decide now, do I want to face Brawly now? Throughout my Hoenn playthroughs in Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, if I can't get the TM for bulk up, or if I don't have a super effective move to deal with him, I am usually better off delaying him till later because he'll just be way too difficult and it just wouldn't be worth it. I can just fight him before I take on Norman. And that is exactly what I do. I take Mr. Briney's boat to Route 109, find a bunch of trainers on the beach and inside the soda house, do a bunch of fun Team Aqua stuff in the museum, and then I can head north to Route 110. I'm just happy that the two Pokefans with Plusle and Minun on their team don't have electric type moves. Their only electric type move is Thunder Wave, and fortunately that doesn't deal damage. So now I'm going to continue doing a lot more training in the area, including inside the Trick House. I don't normally like going in here, especially for the rare candy, because most Pokemon do not need to spend this much time to get a rare candy. Although because this Pokemon is in the Erratic Experience group and Wattson is coming up, I think I will absolutely need this rare candy for him at least. And with the rare candy obtained, I pick up this full heal right here in the grass, and now we can go take on Rival 2. I'm just glad he's not using a Grovyle today, but that doesn't mean he's going to be easy, so let's do the fight. He leads off with his Wingull. I go ahead and use Bite as it uses a turn 1 Growl because it outspeeds, and then it has the nerve to hit me with Supersonic. Alright, now for the Lombre. Bite does roughly a third, it hits me with Nature Power Swift. I go ahead and just keep spamming Bite as I keep hitting myself in confusion for surprisingly not that much damage. Actually, I know why. The Growl is making me hit myself for less. So technically that Growl from the Wingull was actually a benefit, which is kind of funny to think about. So now I just use a Whirlpool on the Combusken. I keep missing my Whirlpools, and yeah, I'm dead. This is what happens when my best water type move has the accuracy of Thunder. Now that I think about it, I probably should have grinded in the wild to level 22 to get Water Pulse, but at the same time, I fought pretty much every trainer at this point. I'm not really sure what I could have done different, but on the next attempt, I win the fight at 3 HP, I just needed to get lucky. So not bad. However though, this doesn't mean I'm done with the training. I fight every remaining trainer leading into Mauville City, and then I clear out the trainers on the east side, and I do the trainers on the north side. I should have done the Windstrait trainers, but I just didn't think about doing them, because I'm going to do an interesting method of training for this thing. Ike the Killer has actually played this Pokemon before in Pokemon Emerald, and based on what Axew told me, he researched his route. Apparently, his method of training for Wattson was just blacking out against him until he eventually won. So I'm going to have to go full-on Chansey against Brock in Gen 1. So let's go ahead and see how many blackouts this takes. Wattson leads off with his level 20 Voltorb. I am level 25 for this fight. Fortunately, I now have Water Pulse, which is going to be my most powerful attack. I still have the Quick Claw equipped for this fight, because the Voltorb and the Manectric will outspeed, And funnily enough, I'm actually speed tied with the Magneton, and the Magneton's the one that gives me a blackout. So the whole plan here is just to spam Water Pulse over and over again until I eventually win. You may wonder, why don't I just equip a Cherry Berry instead of a Quick Claw? I think the Quick Claw might make Wattson more consistent, even better than the Cherry Berry, but we'll see. I'm going to fade out, and when I fade back in, I'll make sure to let you know how many blackouts it took. It took me around 10 blackouts, and on the winning attempt, I'm level 29, and I'm able to knock out Wattson's Manectric and beat him with a time of around 42 minutes and 45 seconds. So yeah, that still took a lot of blackouts, but it's still a lot better than having to fight a bunch of the weak, low-level trainers in the surrounding area. So now we can move on from what is probably the hardest gym in all of Emerald, at least for this thing, because I'm pretty sure the rest of the gyms are going to go a lot smoother, especially since the next one's the Fire-type gym. I fight a bunch of the trainers leading up to Fall Arbor Town, but right here on Aroma Lady Shayla, I accidentally encountered her because she's a spinner. I tried to use Water Pulse on her Shroomish, but she paralyzes me with Stun Spore, so now I'm paralyzed going into the Roselia, and I have Leech Seed up. I can't move because of paralysis. I get hit with Mega Drain, and then I hit Bite, it almost knocks it out, and then Mega Drain defeats Huntail. I haven't saved since then, so now I'm going to have to take the blackout and get all the way back here, which is pretty dang annoying. I was almost there to the town, like come on. I do defeat her on the second try though, and as I continue to fight my way to Fall Arbor Town, I just realized I never went over my nature, ability, or hidden power typing. My nature is modest, which is plus special attack and minus attack. I'm mainly going to be spamming special moves the entire game, especially since Bite is special, so I think lowering attack is going to be the best possible solution. And our ability is Swift Swim. This will double my speed if it's raining. This ability is really not going to come in handy at all. I don't plan on having Rain Dance on my set at all. And our hidden power typing is Hidden Power Electric. This is mainly to deal with Wallace, because without Hidden Power Electric, we're kind of in trouble against him, just like a lot of other water types with no coverage against him. One of the few water types I've done that did have solutions for Wallace without Hidden Power Electric was Starmie, because Starmie, for some reason, can learn Thunderbolt. I fight my way towards Meteor Falls, have a little interaction with Team Magma and Team Aqua. I head on down here, get this PP up, fight this one Poke Collector with Seviper and Zangoose, really good XP yields by the way, and then I can head back to the Rustboro Tunnel, get myself the HM for strength, and then I can go outside this little secret area and get this HP up. I've been picking up random vitamins and high value items throughout the run, because I plan to sell most of them to buy a bunch of vitamins later when I do my vitamin buy. Another trainer that's really good in XP yields is this guy right here with a Dustox and a Beautyfly. It's Bug Maniac Derek. He's on the west side of Mauville. Now I can take the cable car back up to Mount Chimney. Let's see if we get the 1 in 64 hiker. Nope, not today. Let's go take on Maxie. You know a fun fact about this fight? In Ruby version, when you fight Maxie up here, instead of Zubat, he has Golbat, but other than that, the rest of his team's the same. I don't know why in Emerald they downgraded his Golbat to a Zubat, but oh well. It's probably to make him easier since you have to fight him multiple times. Anyway, and the whole time I was ranting about that, I've defeated the Mightyena, the Zubat, and I'll one-shot the Camerupt with Water Pulse. Alright, if the fire type here was that easy, I wonder how Flannery's Camerupt is gonna go. Why don't we go snap onto her and see how easy we can destroy her whole team of fire types. She leads off with a Numel. The Numel is 4 times weak to water, so 1 Water Pulse knocks it out, even with a crit. Man, that's just overkill. Then I one-shot the Slugma, one-shot the Camerupt, and the question is, will I one-shot the Torkoal? I do, and her whole team was a one-shot sweep. I now have to slowly head my way back to Petalburg City, but I do have to take on Brawly first, but I do pick up a few items. Behind this little fossil tower right here, I go ahead and pick up a hidden protein that I will sell for money later. I get this rare candy right here, and also on my moveset, I now have Crunch in the place of Bite for much better damage. And now I can head on down to Slateport, and now we can go buy some vitamins. And for Huntail, today's Vitamin of the day is 6 calcium. I sell most of the valuable items I have as well as other vitamins I don't want. The reason I want calcium is because since we're mainly going to be spamming special moves and we don't have any setup coverage, getting calcium to increase the damage from Surf later will be the best bet to get. You could make an argument for Carbos, but honestly, once we get past a few of the speedy foes coming up in the mid to late game, we don't really have to worry about speed ever again. And then we're just going to completely destroy Brawly. We're not going to play his intro if we delayed him. So now, let's go take on the 5th gym leader, Norman. I used all of my calciums before this fight as he leads off with Spinda. I go ahead and Water Pulse. It's almost a one-shot, but not really. It teeter dances me, getting me confused, and luckily I never hit myself. Next up is the Vigoroth. I don't hit myself. Water Pulse is so close to the one-shot. I hit myself again, and then Water Pulse ends up knocking it out. Then on the Linoon, it hits me with Slash, and then I use Water Pulse. I confuse it, but it didn't matter because I got a Quick Claw proc and I defeat it. Then on the Slacking, it hits me with Yawn as I start spamming Water Pulse. It activates its Citrus Berry, and Facade hits me for a lot of damage, and then while I'm asleep, Feint Attack knocks me out. Man, that is really annoying just how close those things were to knockouts. I change up my strategy just a little bit. I use 2 rare candies here to get to level 39 over a damage rounding threshold from level 38. I also have a Chesto Berry equipped just to anticipate that the Slacking is going to use Yawn, and at level 39, I'm actually dealing way better damage to these Pokemon, plus I outspeed all of his Pokemon now. And then it uses Yawn on me on the Slacking, I confuse it, I fall asleep, I immediately wake up, he uses his Citrus Berry, the Slacking hits itself in confusion, and it is down. And our little reward for actually beating Norman is the HM for Surf. I can actually teach this to Huntail, and now I have pretty much my most powerful move that I'm ever going to have access to. Plus, in just a little bit, I will get access to the Mystic Water to boost the power of Surf by 10%, but that's not going to happen just yet. I go ahead and surf here and get a rare candy, and then on Route 110, I surf to this island here to get another rare candy, and then I can enter Mauville City, head east to Route 118, and then I can pick up this nice little iron here that's just conveniently left here. I don't really need to use it, but I just got it just in case. I'll just use it whenever I open my menu. And now I can make my way up to the Weather Institute, destroy the Team Aqua Grunts here, and I am given a cast form. I do have to deposit the cast form because if I send it out in battle, it's going to end up violating one of my rules for double battles. But I'm just here to get its held item, the Mystic Water. I'm going to equip this when I think I don't need the Quick Claw, and I'm getting to the point where Quick Claw isn't always going to be the correct answer. And if you guys are wondering why Cast Form being in double battles breaks my rule for my second Pokemon, it can only attack my main Pokemon or raise its own stats. It can't affect the battle in any way to the opponent. And Cast Form, its move Powder Snow hits both opponents, and its other moves are weather moves, which will affect the battle. So if I end up having to send it out as the last survivor, if I can't count on it being knocked out, it will end up violating my rules because it will use a move that affects the battle, so that's why I have to deposit it. I completely destroy the rival here because after Rival 2, he's never really an issue ever again. I actually teach Hidden Power Electric to my Huntail. Theoretically, I could have gone back and just get the TM for Ice Beam on the abandoned ship, but the problem is, without Fly, it's just going to be way too much backtracking, so I'm pretty sure Hidden Power Electric and Surf will do, so let's go ahead and take on Winona with this moveset. Winona leads off with her Swablu. I go ahead and use Surf for the one-shot. I have the Mystic Water for this fight instead of the Quick Claw. I go for Hidden Power Electric on the Tropius. It only does about a third, so I continue just spamming Crunch. Crunch does also have the chance to lower special defense by 1 stage, which I end up getting. And for some reason, even though the sunlight was up, the Tropius refused to ever use Solar Beam, which is really interesting. It just kept using Aerial Ace. I have no idea why it was doing that. and then I go ahead and knock out her Pelipper, her Skarmory, and then on the Altaria, I switch over to Crunch. It does about a third. It uses Dragon Dance. I switch to Surf, and it looks like it's doing about the same damage. And then the Oranberry heals 10 damage, and that 10 damage ends up mattering because I put her into Hyper Potion range, and now I have to take her team down again. Fortunately, Earthquake isn't doing that much to me because I have very, very good defense. So on the first try, Winona is taken down, and I get the Feather Badge. The next gym leader I have to deal with is Tate and Liza. And honestly, with Surf and then Ice Beam when I eventually get it, is going to make her an absolute breeze. But it's around this point in the game where I gotta start doing a bunch of evil villain plotline. I'll need to go up Mount Pyre and deal with Team Aqua, I'll need to go to the Team Magma hideout, and then the Team Aqua hideout, all that fun stuff. Nothing major really happens on Mount Pyre, so we're just gonna go skip ahead to the Maxi fight. His Mightyena is a one-shot with Surf, and then on the Crobat, it outspeeds and hits me with Confuse Ray. Fortunately, I am able to hit it with Surf. It almost knocks it out, but not quite. It remains in red health. And then once the Crobat is knocked out, the Camerupt is just going to get completely destroyed. Before I leave the Magma hideout though, I go to this little area back here. I get a Max Elixir as well as a rare candy. And then I can use an escape rope and head on over to Slateport City, watch Team Aqua steal the submarine. Now I need to go to their hideout. Before I do that though, I completely destroy the rival fight in front of the department store in Lily Cove. I need to go to the top floor later to get Substitute, so I may as well just do the fight right now. If the Pelipper doesn't stop spamming Protect, that is. And when I said I'd get Substitute later, yeah, I lied, I'm getting it now. The reason I'm getting it now is because in a previous run, I didn't have Substitute for the Steve and Stone Maxi multi-battle. And honestly, without Substitute, this Pokemon struggles pretty dang bad, especially with all the swaggers that they like to use. So this will make them completely trivial. With Team Aqua finished, I can now head on over to Moss Deep City. I used to just normally fight Tate and Liza right away, but something I've learned from Ike the Killer with his route, and I think Scott uses this route too, instead of doing Tate and Liza immediately, do all of the training possible. Well, not all the training, but at least get Pacifidlog Town on the map, because you're going to have to get here anyway to go to the Sky Pillar and talk to Rayquaza. So if I go ahead and get this area on the map, I can fight any trainers that I end up encountering, plus at the very end here on this route with all of the currents, I can fight this guy right here with the 1 Magikarp and the 5 Gyarados. Gyarados actually give 2 attack EVs each, so fighting this guy is effectively 1 protein plus a buttload of experience. And then I can go up in this area of the currents, and then I can head to this island to get a rare candy. And this is where I like to end it here. I then will fly back to Moss Deep City, and now I can take on Tate and Liza. Funny enough, on Tate and Liza's gym trainers, I try to take them on one at a time because I don't want to do them as double battles, but since I have Surf on my moveset, it's actually faster for me to just do them in the form of double battles. So nice. Let's go take on Tate and Liza now. I didn't get Ice Beam for this fight just because I didn't think I needed it. I go ahead turn 1, I use Crunch on the Xatu for the one-shot, as Claydol will use Earthquake to deal decent damage to me, as well as the Zigzagoon. Now I'm completely on my own. I go ahead and just start spamming Surf right away. I'm able to one-shot the Solrock and the Claydol barely lives. Even though Surf's effective power gets split in half in double battles because it hits both opponents at once, in Gen 3 the damage is split 50-50. In the newer gens, I believe it's 70% of the move's power or something like that. But anyway, once it ends up getting down to just the Claydol, Surf will hit it for full power, and the Claydol is defeated and Tate and Liza gets destroyed. You know, it's really satisfying when Tate and Liza gets destroyed with one Pokemon. It feels kinda nice. And now, I did mention the Steve and Stone Maxi multi-battle. This is the reason I had to get Substitute early, because without this move, this fight is a lot more inconsistent. I can now block Confuse Ray, Swagger, Intimidate, Sand Attack, all that fun stuff. And with all those blocked, these guys can't even stand a chance. So now I can get the HM4 dive, go to the Seafloor Cavern, destroy Archie, and now I gotta do a bunch of boring legendary plotline. Let's go skip ahead to the 8th gym leader, Juan. I did mention earlier in the run Hidden Power Electric was to deal with Wallace, but it also deals with his old mentor, Juan. Hidden Power Electric will one-shot the Love Disc. I will have to one-shot the Wish Cache with Surf because it's a ground type, obviously. And then Hidden Power Electric will one-shot the Celio. I get to level 56. Then on the Crawdaunt, Hidden Power Electric one-shots it. And the Kingdra is going to be kind of difficult. But that's what Crunch is for. Although for some reason I use Surf like an idiot. I do switch on over to Crunch though. It does around half, but then he does the Resto Chesto strat with 2 double teams on his side. And it doesn't look like Crunch is going to be the 2-shot. I think for this run, I probably should have gotten the black glasses when I was getting that HP up earlier in the run. So that's kind of my fault, but I somehow get really lucky, and my moves don't really end up missing that much. I even get a special defense drop, so that just makes him even easier. Although I do still occasionally miss Crunch. But once the Kingdra is down, we now have all 8 badges. I would say that Wally was a complete joke today, but I actually end the fight in yellow health. Some of his Pokemon actually do decent damage to me. I've only ever had one run, I believe, where he was an absolute problem, and it wasn't with this Pokemon, that's for sure. I clear my way through Victory Road. I enter the league here, heal at the center, buy some full restores, but before I challenge the final 5 trainers, I go ahead to Route 114, I get a rare candy, and then I fly to Slateport and head on down to Route 108 to get another rare candy. I'm going to need all the rare candies for Wallace to make sure Hidden Power Electric does the most amount of damage possible. And then right next door, I can head inside the abandoned ship, get this little key right here, and then I can get the TM for Ice Beam. And that is all the extra candies and TMs I get. I have Hidden Power on my moveset in the place of Crunch, and now I can take on the final 5 trainers. Let's do this shit. On Sydney, he leads off with Mightyena. It gets off at Intimidate, but that doesn't really matter to me because I'm using special moves. I go ahead and use a substitute to block any uses of Sand Attack. I defeat his Mightyena, and then on the Cacturn, I have to knock it out with Ice Beam. And for the rest of his Pokemon, I can just use Ice Beam or Hidden Power Electric. Hidden Power Electric is just used for the Crawdaunt mainly. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. At level 69, Sydney is an absolute joke. Also, if anyone in the YouTube shorts is going to be complaining about my high level, this is a solo run. Remember that. Next up is the second Elite Four member, Phoebe. She leads off with a Dusclops. I go ahead and use a substitute because substitute will end up blocking Curse, just in case she used it, but Surf just one-shots it. That is actually impressive. If I can one-shot the Dusclops, I can one-shot her entire team. The Dusclops are very bulky. But let's see if I end up defeating the second, and it barely lives in red health. Oh well, it's not like it matters though, I have substitute. Next up is the third Elite Four member, Glacia. The basic plan here is to use Surf on the pure ice types and Hidden Power Electric on the water types. I go ahead and use a turn 1 substitute on the Celio. I do not think substitute is really necessary for this fight. I think I was just playing overly safe. But Hidden Power Electric one-shots the Celio, and Surf one-shots the Glalie. Let's hope we can keep up the one-shot spree. If the other Celio is knocked out, then on the higher level Glalie will Surf one-shot. It does. Alright, and now for the Wall Rain. I'm pretty confident this will live a Hidden Power Electric, and I am correct, although it came really dang close. So yeah, the Citrus Berry actually heals it out of potion range, and now I can defeat it with the second one. Next up is the fourth Elite Four member, Drake. Drake was the main reason I went and got Ice Beam. I used one substitute to block off any attacks from Drake just in case he were to actually attack me. And if you notice I'm leveling up real quick now, that's the result of the erratic growth rate. I entered the league at level 69 and now I'm level 72. That's all because of how the erratic growth rate works. Anyway, just like with Juan, his Kingdra is the one that keeps surviving hits. The substitute does get broken, but fortunately not much damage is dealt to me afterwards. I defeat the Flygon and the Salamence for 4 times damage. And now, we have got the champion of Hoenn for Emerald. We have got Wallace. Wallace leads off with his level 57 Wailord. I go ahead and use a turn 1 substitute as it uses Rain Dance, and that actually does benefit me now because Swift Swim will allow me to outspeed. Although it's not like it matters, I already outsped his whole team anyway. I go ahead and just start spamming Surf while the rain is still up, because I think a rain boosted Surf, even resisted, might still be better than Hidden Power Electric, although I really don't know the math there. Then on the Ludicolo, it survives a Surf obviously, and now with the rain gone, I have to go ahead and start using Ice Beam. It does break my substitute with Giga Drain, but fortunately it doesn't use a full restore. So now on the Tentacruel, I use a substitute to block Sludge Bomb. It was a good thing I did that too, because it could have poisoned me, and if that didn't poison me, Toxic from either the Tentacruel or the Milotic could certainly do so. But fortunately, Hidden Power Electric does half, although the Citrus Berry does allow it to get into potion range, but he just keeps spamming Recover, and I think I'm slowly doing more damage than he can heal with Recover. So after some patience and time, I am able to knock it out with Hidden Power Electric, although he was certainly trying to stall out my power points. And then on the Wish Cache, I go ahead and use a Surf. It lives in red health. Earthquake does very little damage. I just keep using Surf. He is now spamming his full restores, of course. And now the Wish Cache is defeated and Wallace is down. Psych, I forgot the Gyarados. I have no idea what I was doing here. I think I was distracted by someone in the chat, but I for some reason wasn't using Hidden Power Electric on the Gyarados, and I was trying to use Surf on it, and that allows him to kill me with Hyper Beam. Okay, that is an extremely embarrassing reset. I kinda deserve that. On the second attempt though, I don't make that very boneheaded play, and Wallace is defeated. However, in my Emerald runs now, I believe this is my first edited video with this new rule set. I actually now require Steven Stone in my runs, so a bunch of my old playthroughs will need to get replays, but I actually done quite a few of them offline, but not all of them have been re-ranked. But anyway, that's not the point. We need to take on Steven Stone in Meteor Falls. He is the champion of Hoenn in Ruby, Sapphire, and the remakes. He is located in Meteor Falls, and his team is in the mid-70s, so he will definitely be quite a challenge. But funnily enough, his fastest Pokemon is only 140 speed with the Claydol. If you look at my speed stat when Professor Birch is giving me the national dex, I am at 137 speed. So yeah, maybe I should do a bit of training to outspeed him. Hopefully I'm smart enough to actually do that. I am not that smart though. I do a bit of training, but I'm at 139 speed. I decided to just give Steven a try. He leads off with his level 77 Skarmory. I go ahead and use Substitute because he likes to spam Toxic whenever he has the chance to. I'm holding the Mystic Water for this fight, and my moveset is still the same as during the Wallace fight. I do end up knocking out the Skarmory. Then on the Aggron, obviously I'm going to one-shot it with Surf. Next up is the Cradily. I go ahead and use Surf on it for neutral, although that was a bad idea. I didn't know this at the time, but Cradily actually is weak to Ice Beam, but I do end up remembering the fact later, but I'm still spamming Surf on it. Okay, Cradily and Armaldo, I can never remember what their weaknesses are. However though, I get stupidly lucky, I never get punished for that bad play, and I knock out the Lileep without taking much damage. Then on the Claydol, I hit myself in confusion. The Claydol uses Reflect and then Light Screen. I use Substitute with whatever little HP I have, and then the Claydol knocks me out. Something I need to remember is that the Cradily is weak to Ice Beam, but the Armaldo is weak to Surf. That's something I need to start remembering. And on the second try, I still cannot remember that, but I get the lucky 2-shot range and I can actually knock it out, as well as the following Claydol after it breaks my Substitute. Then on the Metagross, I use Surf, dealing only a quarter. Oh boy, that's not good. I do a bit more training in front of Steven to get to another level, so now I have 140 speed, so I'm a speed tie with the clay doll. That's fine though, I'm willing to take that risk. And I end up back at the Metagross. I go ahead and use Substitute, but it breaks it with a Psychic crit, and then Surf does more than half. I think the reason last time Surf only did a quarter was because Light Screen was up. The main problem with this fight is, if I can't defeat the clay doll as quick as possible and it sets up Light Screen, I'm kind of toast. At 8 resets into the run, I actually defeat the Metagross as well as the following Armaldo, and Huntail has clocked in with a real time of 2 hours, 4 minutes, and 9 seconds, with 8 resets at level 77, with a game time of 5 hours and 41 minutes. If you take a look at our leaderboard, a lot of these Pokemon have gotten second playthroughs with the Steven fight included. The only ones I haven't done the Steven fight for were Rayquaza and Breloom. The Breloom has 2 playthroughs because that was an edited video I made a long time ago. But anyway, that's not the point. I'll do them eventually. But if you look at our leaderboard, Huntail is at 6th place overall and was actually faster than Starmie by only 8 seconds. It honestly should be way faster than that, but I kinda played that Steven Stone fight like an idiot. I think what I should have done was actually just do the training to at least speed tie the clay doll before I did all those attempts. Plus there was that one reset on Wallace with his Gyarados. Oh man, I'm never gonna live that down. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this Emerald video. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more. And be sure to follow my socials or support me through YouTube memberships. All YouTube members get access to all the patch files for all the backported solo runs we've ever done on stream. Anyway, this is only the first Pokemon Emerald video this week. Later in the week on Friday, we'll be playing through Pokemon Emerald with Gorobis. These 2 Pokemon are actually very similar, but they're also different in quite a few ways. You'll see when that next video comes out. Anyway, I will see you all then in the next video.